course, I do feel a sense of gratitude, a sense of satisfaction for my grades. Because, I would have worked, I'd say I would have worked really hard during this academic year, especially considering the events of last year. So, overall, just like a feelings of joy, satisfaction, and accomplishment. It made me have to develop a new sense of discipline because you're at home. There's no one telling you, okay, no teacher is there to preside over you. You have to have your own a strong sense of self-discipline to be able to get up every day, study for a certain amount of hours on your own. You have to do that. You have to get that motivation yourself. There's no one else that could tell you, okay, look, you have to study now. Because obviously, if your parents tell you, you would end up doing something else. You have to actually go through that mental effort to want to learn and understand all the content. First of all, let's say if they're writing either CAPE, CSEC, or any exam for that matter, they shouldn't find studying to be a burden because if you think of studying as a burden, then you're not going to want to study. You're going to let everything pile up and you're just going to be in a bad spot overall.
First, I must say that CAPE is way more rigorous than CSEC. So preparations basically entailed long hours of studying. To be honest, there were lots of pros and cons. For example, let me start with the pro. You got to sleep more, and sleep is something that is extremely important for students sitting exams. You cannot go into an exam on 2 hours of sleep and expect to perform at your best. What was a bit challenging was that you didn't see your friends and so on, so you didn't have that kind of community where you could learn from each other. It was just basically you doing everything by yourself and your teachers and your parents, but you're home alone and you have to study. You have to be very disciplined. You can either deal with the pain of success or you can deal with the pain of regret.
For me, with the pandemic, much of my work had to be online, and there were some subjects which I did, and teachers weren't available at school. So I had to do much of the work online. In addition to that, online learning wasn't that effective for me because I'm from Barbados and the internet service was quite poor there. So it would have affected me in attending classes, and as a result I wouldn't have been able to do my best. In general, I would advise students to decide what they actually want. CAPE is more about specialization. So you wouldn't just go to CAPE and do a lot of subjects. It's more about a specialized approach to whatever field you study. Your grades don't normally determine who you are because it wouldn't measure every metric that intelligence is about.
The major challenge was uncertainty because at one time we were preparing to go back to school and then we didn't go back to school. As for how I dealt with that, well, my family, my parents really helped me remain calm throughout the period and just told me to focus on what I can control, and that is what I did.